Well, hello and welcome. Oh, I'm very bright tonight. Let me just dim my lights here. Ooh, my halo. Oops, now I'm in the dark. Which one? I don't even know which one it is. There we go. And that might be a bit better. How are we all? I hope you are all well. So I finished my assignment early. I had until 11:59. 11:59 tonight. And it's 9:01, and I submitted it at 7:30 p.m. Hey, Joe, happy Monday. It's only Sunday night here, guys. So that's Monday when I go to sleep. But yeah, I'm still on the end of Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, all the carers. If you're a foster carer, an adopted mum, a spiritual mum, whatever role, if you play a role in people's lives, happy Mother's Day. So I didn't really have anything planned because I wasn't due to come on tonight because I wasn't expecting to. And I just thought, you know what? I've just come on, so we're just going to have a chat. So we've got open forum. I'm happy for you to come on and have a chat. I'll post the link. We can have a chat. We can talk about any topic. I know that there has been a creator that has gone absolutely crazy. I haven't watched anything for days, but that doesn't mean that I haven't kept my eye on things. And there's been big deleting happening on Twitter and Instagram, I noticed. So anyway, so there's lots of stuff to do and talk about in the world but anyway, we've got open forum, open topics, and we can go for it. I mean, we can do Twitter time with Joe, but that's pretty gross. I can show you Instagram. That's pretty gross because we're still talking about mainly one topic. And we're sitting, and that person is sitting on 155 subscribers now. Sorry, 155,000 subscribers. So I just don't get it. So I hope you've enjoyed some of the different content that I've done. Yes, Sarah loves donuts. That content, particularly of the Duggars. So the Duggar content. So it's all been very, very interesting. So hello, Ginger Lee. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. So if you're in the Discord, you would have seen that I put in there to pray for my dad and his family because he got told today his sister, her children got called in to say their goodbyes. So my dad and one of his brothers, so there's 6 in the family. It's the younger sister. So the two oldest sons, my dad and his brother, went and saw her, spent some time with their other sister and my auntie's children, and spent some time. Both my dad and my uncle are retired ministers, so they were actually able to pray with the sons and spend some time ministering to them and talking about what is going to happen once she goes. She's high on morphine. She's in no pain, but she's also out of it. So we're just praying that she goes quickly and peacefully, just peacefully, so she's in no more pain. So that was today. So unfortunately, Dad missed Mother's Day lunch. But you know what? Being there for his sister is much more important, really. And because the 2 sisters were close, because there were 4 boys and 2 girls, the 2 girls were very close. So the other sisters really feeling it. Yeah. So that's been today, but And my cousins are just keeping a bedside vigil at the moment. So you're going to ask how my mum was healing? Well, she's on, she's doing physio at the moment, and she is now, she's about to progress from the wheelchair to a walker. So she's got to do exercises every day to try and get some strength back. So she's got to go from wheelchair to walker, walker to crutches, crutches to walking stick. They still reckon it'll be another 10 to 12 weeks before she'll be back fully walking again. So she's going to have physio twice. She's going to have physio twice a week at the moment. So she's doing good. Well, it's been good because she was locked in. She had a friend visit from Sydney, and they went out 4 days in a row, and that really gave my mum, opened her eyes to the fact that she can actually go out of the house. So that's been really happy as well. Oh, my husband passed May 1st. He fought renal. Oh, sorry about that, Dee. That's really sad. I'm sorry about that. Well, we had news yesterday that my auntie had had a stroke, and she was in the stroke ward because she'd been fighting cancer, and she was in hospital for cancer treatment anyway, and she had a stroke, and so she was moved to stroke ward, and so she went from a stroke ward to family needs to come and say goodbye. So isn't hurting anymore. That makes it a bit easier. Yeah. That's what my dad was saying. He just hopes that he's just praying that she goes quickly, because, the morphine, he said she's unrecognizable. He didn't really recognize her, and the hospital was very, very good to them. So that's good. So what's everyone's plans for Mother's Day today? Loss is tough. It seems like you have a strong family. But every morning listening to Joe as I got him ready for the day. So thankful I have her this morning. Wow. Oh, that's good. Oh, I'm glad that I can help, Dee. Avoiding your mother? Oh, no. Sarah loves donuts. Well, I do understand that some people don't have good relationships with their mother. And I have 5 wonderful grown kids, so that's good. That's good. I think the worst thing is having to tell my my nearly 91-year-old grandmother suffering from dementia that her youngest child. Mine is project since my kids are not home, so been diving into theory. Nice. My husband, when he had an aneurysm, it's the most calm and peaceful feeling, he said. He begged for it again. Oh, dear. Is she? I'm sorry to hear that. I'm free now. Join company. Do I need to travel? Well, unfortunately, dear, our borders are closed. We can't get in or out. And in fact, if you come at the moment, our borders are closed if you're coming from India. So I did a video yesterday because there's a man in India, that is suing the government because they've closed the borders and he can't get back in. So that should be going to court tomorrow. I think that's been expedited till tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. They're just trying to get they're just trying to keep a lid on the positive cases coming in because most of the cases are coming in from overseas, the majority of cases. And what happens is the hotel quarantine system that we have, it eventually gets out into the community. So they're just trying to contain it all here at the moment. So I think Victoria had 6 positive cases in hotel quarantine today. I think that was the report. New South Wales have got a set of New South Wales have got restrictions at the moment because of a case. So my husband's boss had to go back to India because his mum died. No word from the boss since. I'm very worried. So the video I did was very interesting because the chief health officer really advises the government on what to do, and he was sort of saying that 50% of the positive cases are coming from India at the moment. So, but I noticed that India has actually, there's calls, here we go. There's mounting calls in India for a nationwide lockdown. I mean, they've hit 4,092 deaths over the past 24 hours. New cases rose by 403,738. They reckon they're going to estimate that India is going to hit 1 million COVID deaths by August. So pressure is mounting on the Prime Minister to announce a nationwide lockdown. Now, it could be interesting because if one of the things in the defence, one of the things in the claim was that the guy booked a ticket and then there was India had stopped travel. So the Australians, they're saying there's 9,000 Australians stranded in India. The issue is that if India then does a lockdown, they'll still be trapped. So it said 10% of India's population have received one shot, while just 2.5% have got both. India was administering 3.5 million shots per day. So it's pretty scary. My children don't talk to me. Oh dear, I'm sorry about that, Be More Dragon. I'm really sorry to hear that. And the ABC, so there is at the moment an appeal going on with organisations to try and help get some relief in there as well. So you can donate to UNICEF, Save the Oxfam, Emergency Action Alliance, to try and, because what happens is that charitable organisations are just not meeting the demand of everything that's happening there. So there's an appeal running throughout Australia. You say keep the borders closed because I think the US has the borders closed, but citizens and residents can get back in, can't they, from India? That's my understanding, where Australia's just shut the gate completely. And then what they found, what they discovered is that people were going in from Doha and Abu Dhabi, and they were coming in from other places. And so the government said, no, if you've been to India in the last 14 days, you can't come in. Doesn't speak to me for the last 2 weeks, she said. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry about that, Ginger Lee. Oh. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty controversial. Now, one of the figures that really astounded me was that they were saying that there was like 178 unaccompanied minors, Australian citizens who were minors, unaccompanied minors in India. And my mind boggled, and I said, why would you send your child unaccompanied to India? Like, why? It absolutely blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. So and this is, I really like this. This is a story. So it says, Motherhood Project aims to capture authentic take on being a new mum. You know, like when you're a new mum and like life is chaotic around you and you look at social media and everyone's got perfect houses. Well, this photographer decided that she wanted to capture real life, that life can be messy. How many times have we had a house look like that, hey? It's like my house. You got one kid pulling out clothes out the drawer. So she was seeing all these beautiful photo pop-ups on social media and she knew it wasn't accurate. And she had her 5th child. And so she started the Motherhood Project. And so she started visiting mums at the witching hour in an effort to capture moments between the mother and child they rarely shared. What about this one? And what about this one? I remember. So the reality is less than picture perfect, especially for new mums. Who shares their baby chucking a tantrum or throwing their food on the floor? At each shoot, Roseanne would take the time to get to know the mother, talking with them, hearing their experience and taking photos. She said, among the mess, mundane tasks and exhaustion were the moments of sheer joy. And this one, double trouble. Yes, also happy birthday, Gingerly. So there. So she said, I photographed a beautiful mother who just had twins. She was feeling down about her body because obviously she had twins. She's sitting on the bed. She's got one cradled in her arm and the other one on her leg while she feeds with one bottle. Look at this. That's real motherhood, hey? This session, the babies were just crying and she's walking around the house in her underwear because that's the reality. And so she really wants to break the stigma of the social media and the motherhood. And I think it's a really good project. What about that one? These are the photos that we need to see. We're jumping on social media and we're hating our bodies. Our bodies have served us so amazingly. Roseanne said she wanted to learn, new mums to learn from her experience. Don't do what I did. Learn from your mistakes. Love your body. Love yourself. Don't worry about what you see on social media. Who has time to compare? Put your energy into being in the moment with your kids because that's all that matters. The negative impact of social comparisons is exacerbated if parents are already struggling or feeling judged by others and are judging themselves. I think it's a very good project. That one's nice. I know, that's right. Sarah loves donuts. We've got to break the stigma. So I think make the point to talk to friends in real life who will validate your real experiences. High level of phone use was associated with decreased engagement with kids. So she suggested limiting social media to use certain times of day, deleting the apps or logging out of the apps each time to deter you from logging in as such. So I think it's a very good project because it shows you this is real life. This is real life motherhood. It's a nice reminder today, hey, that we can't compare ourselves to anybody else. I mean, that to me is just an amazing photo. That's one of my favorite. Um, and of course that one where the kids chucking everything on the floor. And that one, I can relate to that one. Yeah. So that is a photographer in Brisbane that's decided to do that. Hello, LER. Hello, Maria. And yes, we need to see these pictures. Motherhood is a beautiful life. It is. It's tough, exhausting, but it's rewarding, isn't it? So the Motherhood Project. She also stated that she had trouble finding mothers that wanted to put themselves out there because of this stigma. So, like, mums don't have enough to do. I hate the pressure on women. Everything. Well, and that's the thing. There is that pressure. I mean, how many? I've seen. There was an Australian, fitness person, and she documented her journey through her pregnancy, and she made a point when she didn't lose all her baby weight straight away. She had some complications, so she couldn't exercise, and so she was posting about how it's actually okay not to flip back into the perfect weight. And she also said that she won't ever go back to her perfect weight because of some stuff, but it's more important that she's fit and healthy. So if anyone wanted another daughter, you can adopt me at 31. Messy. Oh, I'm a bit messy too, actually. Everyone's body is different. As long as mine works, I'm good. Yeah, well, I am too. My voice is going a bit funny. I've actually got a cold, but we're actually having really nice days and really cold nights, and it's that transition that's just really affecting me at the moment. But I couldn't work yesterday because, I gotta go have a COVID test if I want to work. So at the moment, I'm not bothering. At the moment, I just, been focusing on my stuff. Am I going to sing for you? Oh, probably not tonight. But there will be videos up again. I've got to do some more. In 6 weeks, actually, I have to. In 6 weeks, I actually have to have everything recorded for recitals. So there'll be songs up there. So there'll be some songs coming. Yeah, we call it autumn. Sarah loves donuts. We call it autumn. You'll wait, yeah. So they'll be all up there. I'm working on some other stuff. I'm actually going to release my album on my birthday. I've decided. So I'm going to release, it's all going to be released on my birthday in October. Oh, wow, your Carole King love tapestry. Wow. Would you believe that I'm actually working on You've Got a Friend by Carole King too? Mother of fur babies. Another favorite. You want to buy my album, Linda? Oh, okay, that's really nice. Well, part of the whole thing is that I actually have to do a whole website, or I have to have it. I have to have an online presence, so you will be able to order it. So it will be available for order. So I'm just working out whether to put it on my website or whether to host it on Bandcamp, which is a site for musicians. So yeah, I'm just working away at my different arrangements at the moment. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And there'll be an option, I think, to order if you like CDs too. There'll be that one as well. So October 9th is my birthday, so that's when I thought that would be a nice time, because that way I think I finished my course. Actually finishes my assignment is due in August, and so that gives me August, September, October. That gives me 3 months to fix anything that I need, re-record anything, and then get it out. So I mean, I could probably get it out before then, but I just thought my birthday would be a nice opportunity. So yours is October 5, Ellie. Wow. That's pretty cool. So we had Chinese for lunch today. So my mum likes Chinese, so we went to a Chinese restaurant and we filled up. There was so much left over. There was seven takeaway containers full of leftovers. Great time of the year in US. Looking forward to your album. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. So will you consider doing songs for YouTube channels? Possibly Sarah Loves Donuts. I would be open to doing songs for YouTube channels. I did my own opening. I would be open to doing something for other people too. I'm open to anything. It's all experience, really. It's good experience. Hello, Angel. The other song that I'm looking at that I'm learning is "Angel" by Sarah McLachlan as well. And then I've got to do that's for my recitals in June. I've got June recitals next month. Then I've still got to do "How Great Thou Art," "Amazing Grace," "What a Friend We Have in Jesus," "Old Rugged Cross," "Climb Every Mountain" for my album. So, and at the moment, I've got to do all the parts for it. So, yeah. But I've been slacking off and procrastinating. So my singing teacher came out and said, "Well, if you're not going to choose your songs for you, I'm going to choose them." And he's gone, "This one, this one, this one, this one." Okay, great. Done. he's So, so the Prime Minister of Australia, he has stated that Australia will only open borders when it is safe to do so. So they have said that it is unlikely that Australia will open its borders to the rest of the world until at least 2022. It means at the moment we have a travel bubble with New Zealand. So we can go there. We can go to New Zealand and they can come here and we don't need to quarantine. So we have a bubble with New Zealand at the moment. However, Qantas had planned to restart international flights from October, but it looks like it's not going to be happening until next year. The health minister said that Australia would pursue more travel bubbles with countries beyond the current arrangements with New Zealand rather than totally open its borders. Now, I think Singapore's in discussions at the moment. Singapore's been mentioned. And I think one of the other Asian countries as well. But essentially, we're going to be closed off until at least 2022 to the rest of the world. But the Prime Minister is right. We are living like very few countries in the world. And that's because we have mandatory quarantine, and we have, and our states just locked down. My niece was in Australia when COVID hit and had to come home. Yeah, oh, wow. And so now many states will just lock down, or they so New South Wales, I think, have to wear masks again. So they just bring in masks, or they lock down. They just start adding restrictions again. And that's how we're dealing with it at the moment. If it gets really bad, we just lock down for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, shut everything down, and then, and then we go back to mask wearing, indoor and outdoor, restrictions of how many people we can have in our house and venues and stuff, and then gradually start back from there. So New South Wales currently has restrictions. So let's have a look here. So from 5 p.m. today, from 5 p.m. Thursday, 6th of May till Monday the 17th, rules around household visitors, face masks, singing, dancing, restrictions in aged care facilities will be tightened in Greater Sydney. So, and these are all the restrictions here. So singing, you can't sing, and I don't think you can dance, and you've got to wear face masks. Shopping, public transport, indoor areas during a flight, indoor entertainment, places of worship, hair and beauty. So they haven't closed down everything. They've just said you've got to wear your mask. And then they're saying where you have to wear masks. So there we go. So they've got holiday homes, and so up to 20 people may stay in a holiday home or a rental. Restrictions on business, so 1 person per 2 square meters and 1 person per 4 square meter rule. So that's how we're dealing with things at the moment. So New South Wales. So dancing is not allowed at hospitality venues. For weddings, they recommend no more than 20 people on the dance floors. Children up to the age of 12 may sing or chant as part of a choir up to 20 people at a place of worship. Each member of a choir should be 1.5 metres apart. The choir should be 3 metres from the congregation. Singing is not allowed in non-residential indoor premises unless the singers are performers. It's part of a singing lesson. So the singing or chanting is part of a public place of worship. So, yeah, so they do all of this. So you've got to wear masks. People who aren't counted as visitors. So you're allowed to have 20 people in a household at any time. But yeah, nowhere else to go. Apparently Australia is out of the question. I know, we're keeping everybody out. However, it also means I can't leave as well. You can't get in, but I can't get out. They won't let us out. Well, you have to apply for an exemption, and I really, So here's another, people are coming up with really creative ways to deal with, people are coming up with really creative ways to deal with COVID. So this is a program through Regional Arts Victoria, the Victorian government, working for Victoria and Departments of Education and Training. They've started an artist in residence program. So if a school doesn't have an arts teacher or they don't have a creative arts program, the government wants to put in a artist in residence, A, to give the artists work, and B, to give children experience. Artists who apply through Regional Arts Victoria matched with schools and posted for 6 months paid residency in school. They have no dedicated art teacher or creative arts program. During COVID, there was a huge amount of money released to support the arts industry, and this is one of the streams the money has come. So it will see 150 artists, such as visual artists, performers, musicians, landscape gardeners, jewelry makers, set designers, deployed to government schools, including specialist schools. Custom design programs to date have included everything from hip-hop recordings to the creation of books, from teaching mathematics and anatomy through to colour. So these are two artists that have been able to find work in this residence program. And we need to understand that we're living in a crisis at the moment where everything is becoming fast, electric, cheap and cold. These kind of activities give the kids an understanding of discipline, of what it's like to work with time to enjoy something in the process. So this is one of the schools, and many artists that respond to Regional Arts Victoria call out last year and found placements in the first and second stream of the program have found the interaction with the children and teachers alike to be mutually energising. You come as artists and you have different perspectives to educators, but you work with educators. The program is really to get children accustomed to the artistic program. We are living in a moment of history where our creative responses are critical. So the children needed to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. The marriage between the arts and science, the arts and business has never been more important. I think myself, this is such a great program. You think of all the people in the arts industries that have lost their jobs, and you have schools that are for whatever reason, because they don't have the teachers. The schools are cried out for help. Why not put those artists in the school? And the government said, we want to fund it. So imagine these kids' their brains have been expanded by these creative processes. What an amazing idea. What a great idea. We need the arts in the USA. Yeah, I think I saw that and I thought that was a really good idea. So the government released money for the arts program. So the Regional Arts Victoria and the Creative Victoria and the Education Department have all worked together to get this up. Could you imagine, like, a set designer teaching kids how to make sets? But so there's going to be 150 artists deployed to metropolitan schools and regional schools. That's 150 people that lost their jobs that for 6 months are going to get that are going to have work. They're guaranteed 6 months work. It's easy to forget all the good that can be done on this platform, to be honest. Yeah. Families are stressed to the max, outlets and relief. Yes. So I might actually just play this. We might just have a look at this. I don't know. You want to move to Australia? Let's have a look at this.
The Creative Workers in Schools program was developed as an employment scheme in response to the COVID lockdown. Particularly the arts industry was deeply affected. The program targets visual performing arts, but also landscape design, jewellery design, set design, and it's a 6-month contract in government schools right across Victoria.
My skateboarding course. I'm pretty sure this is the banana human.
Currently, we've rolled out 57 creative workers.
Some of those drawings are pretty good, aren't they?
Into 52 schools. We have the ambition of having 150 artists or creative workers in schools. It also includes specialist schools.
We make Magic Lantern Studio. That's the name of our little studio. We run a lot of workshops and puppet shows and...
Oh, look at the tree. Look at the tree in the background with all the photos. Oh, wow. What a great way to display all the students in the class. Are you living with me?
Working in painting and public art.
We really want the kids to sort of lose, personal ownership of their drawings a little bit. What they thought they were drawing suddenly got passed to somebody else who did something else with it. So part of it was just to get them to work with what is in front of them and not to be too precious about their mistakes or to get too anxious about somebody else ruining their work, which, future children did. But, they have to sort of get over that, so that they can collaborate and work together with the others, and also just taking it in directions that they just wouldn't have envisaged.
Everybody swap over, please.
If we do this, and we can try and find a shape of something in there, and it starts to look less like scribbles
and more like a picture.
and more like a picture.
Now, what you might see is that in doing your beautiful pictures, you also created some really lovely pictures underneath.
At the start, we had to do random, and then we had to do dots, and then we had to do lines, and then we just went crazy. It's supposed to be a rainbow.
It's like a match made in heaven, really, because you've got artists who've been out of work and you've got kids in schools who've been in lockdown. A lot of
the green outfit is beautiful, isn't it? Hello, stop and sniff the stop and sniff the flowers. I was going to say stop and sniff the artist. That's not going to work. I'll be the maid and the chef, Jodie. Entertainment. Oh, that's good because I'm not very good at cleaning and I'm not very good at cooking. Hello, happy Mother's Day. As a redhead, love the green outfit. It's really cool, isn't it? I like that though, teaching the kids not to be too precious with their work, that you're going to make mistakes.
schools in regional Victoria particularly don't even have a set art teacher, so it will often be another teacher that's actually implementing the art program. So this is also an incredible opportunity for those students to get exposed to artists that have had deep training but industry experience as well.
Hi, I'm Letitia. I'm co-school captain of Fish Creek and District Primary School, and all of these things around here are artworks from different students in our school.
Oh, wow, look at that. Look what they've done there. Love the outfit. Popping in and out, hubby's sick. I'm sorry to hear that hubby's sick. Yeah, so stop and sniff the flowers. So the government in Victoria is sponsoring artists, creative people to go into schools as a 6-month residency and teach programs. So it's keeping artists in work, creative people in work. I know, but I love that. What a great, look at that. Beautiful.
Preps to grade 4s did the Corner Inlet rock pool mural, and we started off with a field day, which was great fun. We all went down and they went with their little sketchbooks, and we had different groups. So there was the phycologists who were doing the algae, we had the geologists doing the rocks, the ornithologists doing the birds, and they came back with the information, which they then turned into visual stuff for the mural.
We're really lucky at Fish Creek to actually be able to have an indoor sandpit with all this beautiful artwork around it.
And what we're hearing from the schools, a lot of children, the typical standard of education might not be their language. And so putting an artist into a school, it might not be that they're just teaching that art. They could be teaching maths, but through a creative lens. It's a great opportunity for teachers and students to be exposed to mediums and to approaches and expressions that might not fit very firmly in curriculum, but still have incredible educational benefit.
It gives us the possibility to bring more art activities, and we understand how important it is to work the imagination of the kids by art in a crucial moment before the rational world come and put all the pressure and the stress on the life of the people. The mediums and artistic disciplines can help to develop the imagination.
So there you go. So that was from the ABC. Yeah, so that's what the government is doing to try and help. What a great room. Every kid's dream, I'm sure, says Angel. Yikes, I know I'm not a sand fan. Those are the ones. My kid, he's 6, has ADHD. I learned I did the rainbow was, he did a new piece. Absolutely. Oh, I might have to check that out. Our beach house has an outdoor shower. Wow. They really bring art to life. I love it. Yeah, so anyway, that is a program. So so they're offering creative people in the creative arts industry, a artist in residence contract for 6 months to assist in the school. So they're hoping to employ 150 creative arts people and put them into a school. That would be amazing. I mean, the experiences, and because not every school has an art teacher, just like not every school has a music teacher. So to be able to, like for example, put a musician into a school for 6 months would be really, really cool. So I like trying to find different stuff. So it's like a public school program that helps them. No Stop and Sniff the Flowers. It's just a program to put artists back into work after the pandemic. So it's just to it's just to try and get them back into work from the pandemic until things pick up. So it probably would not have happened unless the pandemic occurred. But because so many of the creative arts industries are still trying to come back, they're just trying to give people that extra step. Because if you knew that you could have 6 months work in a school, you could then still you've got 6 months work, and then you've still got, after that 6 months that you may be able, the industry hopefully will be that further a bit more recovered, and you could walk into a job. So it's just to help give them a step up in recovery. Life has changed from the pandemic. It really has. It really has. So the other thing that the government's doing, I just saw it here before. So our government gives travel vouchers so that we will travel into us within our state. So they're really just trying to beef up the economy by, where was it? Yes, we all have to learn to pivot and adapt. That's correct. I think, nothing. And I mean, I've still stayed remote learning. I could have gone back face to face, but I've still stayed remote learning because I'm not quite convinced yet that we're quite over it all. All right, so this is something else that the government is proposing. So diners in Melbourne CBD will soon receive discounts of up to $100 on their meals as part of a plan worth more than $260 million to revive the city. So it's a 20% rebate scheme. The Victorian Government and the Melbourne City Council have pledged more than $260 million. Arts and cultural events will be funded to help bring people back into the CBD. So the government and the City Council of Melbourne are really trying to put life back in. So it says the Victorian Government has announced its budget out later this month. So in a couple of weeks, the Victorian Government will announce its budget. And it will include $100 million dedicated to revitalising Melbourne, which will be matched by the City of Melbourne. The budget will also include $7.4 million for a new voucher scheme to encourage people to eat at cafes and restaurants in the city. It will contribute an extra $1 million to the voucher scheme, which will allow diners to claim back 20% of their meals. The larger $200 million joint fund will be used to support art events and cultural events to support small businesses back into the CBD. The acting premier said the package was designed to bring back the activity. Because we haven't, he says, and we just haven't had international students over the course of the past 12 months, and that's been, that's hit hard. So they'll go to small-scale infrastructure to attract workers and residents to CBD, as well as supporting arts and cultural events and activating hospitality and retail spaces. Our cafes, our bars, our restaurants are the heartbeat of the city. So they were offering $200 travel vouchers. So you could go travel or stay in Victoria, and they sold $160,000. They sold out within minutes with 160,000 vouchers being released. So, so the city is struggling. So they welcome the rebate scheme. So the Melbourne City Law Mayor said the city would administer the dining voucher scheme and should encourage people back into the city. And of course, because now we've got a bubble with New Zealand, they want to also encourage, so they've also got in the budget $55 million for Visit Victoria to continue enticing people from interstate and from New Zealand. So they want to get people from New Zealand in, because at the moment they're the only international people that are allowed in. So yes. I shop online now. I don't think I can go back to shopping, at least not as much as I did. I still do most of my grocery shopping online. I might just go down to the local shop, but I don't do much. I don't do much face-to-face anymore either. You have a program where you download the, oh wow, that would be good. Stop and sniff the flowers. Arts and music are excellent for children, express their personality, great outlet for people. Yes. Yes, it seems like that, Linda. I know that the government offered they did a $250 rebate for everybody under a certain income limit. You had to apply for it. So, so where I live, the government is they're just pouring money back in to try and revitalise the city. So trying to get everything back, because they know that once everything is back to normal, they'll get money again. But it's a very big arts precinct, so it's really important that it gets back to where it was. Yeah, like there's 10% coffee shops doing it, so it's not too saturated. Just be a small business. Oh, cool, a small business. Yes, that's really cool. A real small business, hey? Hmm. And something yes, if you could like normal. Look, it's interesting. Normal wasn't great though. I hope the rat race. I was hoping the rat race was going to be slower, but it hasn't really. It's speeding up again, and I'm trying to pull back on it. Something came up the other day, and I said, you know what? I said when COVID hit, that was a lesson to slow down. And I said, I've just got to pull the reins on things. Here's something else that's really, really interesting. I'm sorry, I'm just talking about random stuff here. So, a Royal Australian Air Force Vice Marshal Catherine Roberts is to become Australia's first space commander. Yes, that's right. We're going to have a space command division. So she had her childhood hero was Neil Armstrong, and she's going to become Australia's first space commander. Air Vice Marshal Catherine Roberts, who is currently the head of Air Force capability, will take over the newly created position of head of space division from January. So there she is. Her appointment as the country's inaugural space commander comes weeks after Air Force Chief Marshal Mel Hupford revealed planning was well underway for a new military space command. I think we're probably about 3 or 4 years behind where I'd like to be at the moment, but we're catching up quickly. So again, that's her. The soon-to-be head of Space Division last year revealed her lifelong passion for the final frontier in a video address to Women in Leadership Digital Summit. The first person I ever remember having a material impact on my ambition was Neil Armstrong. In 1969, as a 3-year-old, I watched in awe as Lieutenant Armstrong descended up the ladder of the lunar lander and uttered the first words ever spoken on the moon. It was an incredible moment for humanity and millions of aspiring engineers that were probably created at that moment. I was no different. So, also from next year, the Army will have its first female deputy chief, becoming the first of Australia's armed forces to appoint a woman to such a role. Major General Natasha Fox will take up the role from January in an announcement made internally to the military just before Anzac Day. She's been deployed to Lebanon, Syria, and Israel, and was the Chief of Staff for Joint Task 663 in the Middle East, where she received the Order of Australia for her service. And then they've got, while unveiling a raft of senior appointments, General Campbell also confirmed Rear Admiral Brett Rolski had already begun working as the head of the Afghanistan Inquiry Response Task Force. You would see that I've done some videos on Ben Roberts-Smith. There's some allegations in there about what happened in Afghanistan. There was a Brereton report about that investigated war crimes. Well, now they've put somebody as a head of that task force to respond to Inspector General of the Defence Force's inquiry into alleged war crimes into Afghanistan. So they've now appointed somebody to follow through on all the recommendations there. Yes, so we're actually going to have a space division, and there you go. Random is great, cool. It is a great role model. Yes, it's going to be great for girls. Aussie Space Force, yes. I think the space agency is going to be, where is it going to be? Oh, it's in, is it Adelaide? It's going to be in Adelaide. Don't know where. Oh, yeah. Oh no, the government. I don't know where their government. 2017, they made the announcement they were going to start this. Talk about the space thing, and I'm just trying to see whether I know where it was going to be. There was talk about it being in South Australia, but I don't know. Can't remember. Australia's. But it's going to be, again, it's going to have on offer lots of jobs as well. Okay, it is saying that it is located in Adelaide. There we go. Australian Space Agency is located in Adelaide. There you go. I thought it was right. So this is it here. So the Australian Space Agency, space technology and services benefit all Australians. Space technology underpins a lot of daily conveniences Australians have come to expect, weather forecasting, emergency management, internet access, online banking, space technology. So there we go. And how the agency works. I think that's a different agency though. Careers in space. Yes, the Chinese rockets come down. It came down in the Maldives. Let me get that up for you. Maldives. It fell. Where are we? See, I've got all the news. You don't need to watch the news now. I've got all the news for you. Where are we? You could actually have tracked it live, believe it or not. So it landed in the Indian Ocean. News with Joe. Here we go. So Long March 5B rocket debris crashes into Indian Ocean. Says, state media says. So it says remnants of China's biggest rocket has landed in the Indian Ocean, with most of its components destroyed upon re-entry into the atmosphere, ending days of speculation as to where it would hit, but drawing US criticism over a lack of transparency. Parts of the Long March 5B rocket re-entered the atmosphere and landed at a location with the coordinate longitude 72.47 degrees east and latitude 2.65 degrees north. Chinese state media cited the Chinese manned space engineering officer saying the coordinates put the point of impact in the ocean west of Maldives archipelago. Most of the debris was burnt up in the atmosphere. So there you go. The US Space Command confirmed the re-entry of the rocket over the Arabian Peninsula, but said it was unknown if the debris had hit land or water. So it is clear that China is failing to meet the responsible standards regarding their space debris. So there you go. So yes, it has landed. Just going to grab this picture. So that's where it's saying it was going to land. There. In the Indian Ocean. Yep, so it looks like it's landed. So Yeah, so just we're just chatting about random stuff at the moment, eh? So there was yeah. Because there was a shooting in Times Square, unfortunately. 3 people, including a child, were wounded in Times Square. That's pretty yucky, isn't it? I always say yucky. I don't know why I say yucky. It's just I was talking to some kids today, and I was using the word, trying to speak. I don't mean to use a word as simple as yucky, but you know what I mean. I sometimes I just find yucky covers a whole plethora of words. So. Oh, it's gone quiet all of a sudden. Whoops. It's gone quiet. It's funny, when we were out for lunch, my son, who'd been up all night, he just got to bed. He got up to go to bed, and he's sitting at lunch, and he's falling asleep. And we kept going, we kept poking him. I was so mean to him. Kept poking him. Don't go to sleep. Hello, Winter Whispers. So here's another just random story. So wombats. Winter wombat burrows could put animals at greater risk of So it says, once upon a time there was a long, skinny schoolboy who loved crawling deep into wombat burrows by torchlight. He grew up to be an economist and chairman of the Wombat Foundation, but his childhood drawings and descriptions of wombat burrows, originally published in his school magazines, have been groundbreaking in natural history. Wombat mange is caused by some, it's a mite, it's a parasite that causes scabies in humans. In fact, it was introduced to wombats by early European settlers. The mite burrows under the skin and triggers an immune response that sometimes go awry. When this happens, wombats itch themselves, raw, lose hair, and end up with thick, ridged skin and open wounds that can become infested. Badly affected wombats use so much energy to fight the disease, they need to spend more time than usual looking for food. So a wombat lives in a burrow and will sleep in it for 4 to 10 days and will switch to another burrow. So if there's a mite in one burrow, mites will be in the other burrow. So what they've done, they've come up with a Wombat. So this is going to go through. So they've come up with this robot. The wireless doesn't operate underground, so video has to be fed back to the surface. So using the Wombat suggests mites might last a lot longer in burrows in winter, which makes the cold season likely peak time for transmission. So they're finally getting some researchers some researching. So researchers calculated this by calculating temperature and humidity measurements inside the burrows at different times of the year using sensors on the Wombat. And so then they're looking at how to successfully treat them. So again, so it says in some cases, the only thing that they can do is call the vet to put the Wombat out of the misery. But once they are covered in open wounds and flown by, there's nothing you can do. Volunteers use a chemical called cytidine to kill the mites on the wombats in the wild. It involves sneaking up on the animals and pouring pesticide on them from a cup on the long end of a pole or by setting up an ingenious device called a burrow flap. The challenge, so they're trialing a longer-lasting chemical currently used on cats and dogs. So it says that the research says that wombats can go 1 to 3 months with a single treatment, and it's safe to use on animals. So they're just working out what they can do to help these little wombats. So, and a successful so that Wombat is actually being very successful in helping them get some research about this mite that is making wombats sick. So it agrees mites like a damp, cool but humid environment would not be surprised if they could last longer in winter. To make matters worse, she says there's less good quality food around winter to make a wombat healthy enough to fend off the disease. Aren't they cute? So isn't that is that interesting or is that interesting? So they're just having a look at the is that the mite? Oh no, so this is a wombat burrow that he explored. He used to explore. So he used to draw his burrows. Exploring wombat burrows is more complex. They go up and down and turn corners and to open out at times into chambers, and we think this is where wombats sleep. So there you go. And they forage for up to 14 hours a day. A healthy wombat will forage 2 to 4 hours a day, and one that is sick will forage 14 hours a day. Hello, Christine. Oh, is it? Yeah, look at that. That's a sick one. That's not good, is it? Oh, poor little wombat. Roped a friend. He's so anyway. So if you're just joining me, I've got nothing to talk, like I haven't set anything up to talk about today or anything like that. We're just having a general chat. I'm just finding little bits of information that we just find interesting and that I'm sharing with you. I think we've covered a whole range of stuff. I think we've covered a lot of stuff today. Yeah, it's very mellow today. It's very quiet today. It is. You're right. It's very quiet today. Yeah, very quiet. As I said, I haven't planned on anything. I didn't plan on anything because I submitted my assignment early. So it just came in. I think we had about 30 people in, which is a lot less than we normally do. And that's fine. I'm keeping you company as you do your morning chores. That's cool. Nice. So we've discussed about the China rocket that's fallen. We've well, we've talked about a few things today. I can do news with Joe every day. Yeah, and I'm really trying to avoid a certain creator because I'm just fed up with them. But we can talk about them if I don't mind. We can talk about them. But we haven't really. However, oh yes, I've got to show you something because somebody asked this creator. Hang on. That sounded like nudes. Oh yeah, news. Oh, they would kick me off if it was nudes with me. No more KJ, I'm so burnt out. Yes, I know, I am too. To be honest with you, I'm so burnt out. I've just had enough. But the thing is, as more people are not talking about her anymore, she's going to go harder and harder. So this was from a live the other day, and I love this face. And someone's written, "Are you taking the challenge Joanne Cochran's challenged you to?" Look at the face. I love it. I love it. I didn't see it, but I was told she didn't answer it. But look at the facial expression. Like, what? Because I can assume that it's a no because, you know, she's probably not. But I know she's deleted a whole lot of stuff. She looks like a wombat. KJ needs to take a break. She looks like a wombat. Is that a mange wombat with the parasites or the mites on it, or is that a wombat before parasites? That was probably a bit mean. Oh boy. That was probably a little bit mean, but anyway, you know. Oops. She did a live day, caught part of it. Oh, she's awful. I think she's in trouble. Well, it's interesting because she's been doubling down on that because she's been saying that she didn't get into trouble. Of course, she's going to say she didn't get into trouble. She's not going to admit that she got into trouble. She really isn't. That's the look on someone who's just found out Russia isn't China. I think so, Wind Whispers. Russia isn't China. You are correct. I'll have to have a look at that. But you're nice. What do you think SK mean? I know. It's less. I can't handle it. Now are Chinese rockets Russian? Wow, that is a good question, isn't it? It is very interesting. Oh, did he, Christine? Actually, I was thinking about doing the same thing about her live streaming back during the hearing actions. I actually was going to email him about the fact that she's been relentless with him. That's what I was thinking about doing, just to say, look, she just has not let up, and this really needs to stop. Because I think this is interesting. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen his probation. This is, thank you to Without a Crystal Ball Reddit. This is the the order setting conditions of release. So it says, it is ordered that the defendant's release is subject to these conditions. The defendant must not violate federal, state, or local law while on release, must cooperate in the collection of DNA sample if it's authorised. Defendant must advise court or pretrial services office supervising officer in writing before making any change of residence or telephone number. Must appear in court as required. If convicted, must surrender as directed and serve a sentence that they impose. That's the building. That must sign an appearance bond. So yeah, so that's when he's got that's his court date. So there's the people, I'm going to take that away, but that's the people who is in custody, must submit by supervision to the US probate office, continue or actively seek employment. So it says he's got to continue or actively seek employment. Must surrender any passport to US probation, not obtain a passport or other international travel documents, abide by the following directions on personal association, residence or travel restricted to Western District of Arkansas, unless approved prior by the US probation officer. Must not possess a firearm, destructive device or weapons, must not use alcohol excessively, must not use or unlawfully possess a narcotic drug or other controlled substances, unless prescribed by a licensed medical practitioner. Defendant shall not purchase, possess, use, distribute, or administer marijuana, or obtain or possess a medical marijuana card, prescription. This condition supersedes standard condition number 7 in respect to marijuana. Only if the defendant is currently in possession of a medical marijuana card, he or she will turn it over immediately to probation office. Participate in one of the following location restriction programs and comply as directed. So he's got home detention. You are restricted to your residence at all times except for employment, education, religious services, medical, substance abuse or mental health treatment, attorney visits, court appearances, court order obligations, and other activities approved in advance by the pretrial services officer or supervising officer. Submit to location monitoring as directed by the pretrial services officer or supervising officer and comply with all of the program requirements and instructions provided. You must pay all or part of the cost of the program based on your ability to pay as determined by the pretrial services officer. Report as soon as possible to the pretrial services officer or supervising officer every contact with law enforcement personnel, including arrests, questioning, or traffic stops. Must not possess, view pornography, erotica in any way, shall not access, utilize an internet-capable device. All internet-capable devices in the residence shall be password protected. No contact with minors, including family, siblings, members, with the exception that he may have supervised visits with his children. To the defendant, you're advised of the following penalties and sanctions. Violating any of the foregoing conditions of release may result in immediately issue for the warrant of your arrest, revocation of your release, an order of detention, a forfeiture of any bond, and a prosecution for contempt of court, and could result in imprisonment, a fine, or both. While on release, if you commit a federal felony offence, the punishment is an additional prison term of not more than 10 years. And for a federal misdemeanor offence, the punishment is an additional prison term of not more than 1 year. This sentence will be consecutive to any other sentences you receive. It is a crime punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine, or both, to obstruct a criminal investigation, tamper with a witness, victim, informant, retaliate, attempt to retaliate against the witness, victim, informant, intimidate or attempt to intimidate a witness, victim, juror, informant, or officer of the court. These penalties for tampering, retaliation, or intimidation are significant and more serious if they involve a killing or attempted killing. If after release you knowingly fail to appear as a condition of release required, or to surrender to serve a sentence, 1, an offence punishable by death, life imprisonment, or imprisonment for a total of 15 years or more, you'll be fined not more than $250,000 or imprisoned for not more than 10 years. An offence by imprisonment for a term of 5 years or more, but less than 15 years, you'll be fined not more than $250,000 or imprisoned for not more than 5 years or both. For any other felony, you'll be fined not more than $250,000 or imprisoned for no more than 2 years or both. A misdemeanor, you will be fined not more than $100,000 or imprisoned for no more than 1 year or both. A term of imprisonment imposed for failure to appear or surrender will be consecutive to any other sentence you receive. Acknowledgement of the defendant. I acknowledge that I'm the defendant in this case. Now I am aware of the conditions of release. I promise to obey all the conditions of release, to appear as directed, to surrender to serve any sentence imposed. I'm aware of the penalties and sanctions set forth. And then that's his signature, and there is the magistrate signature. So there you go. I've not seen that before. Does anyone know if Her Royal Highness has actually shown it? And then this is the appearance bond, I think. I think if they, hello, sweet tea. All right, so this is the appearance bond. So I, Josh James Duggar, agree to follow every order of this court or any court that considers this case. I agree that the bond may be forfeited if I fail to appear for court proceedings if convicted, to comply to all the conditions set forth. Type of bond, it's a personal recognised bond. I don't know what that means. And then it says, there you go, he signed that there, and then that's the magistrate there. What I will say is that she did go after the judge for a little bit, and I really didn't like that, because the judge is bound by the law. I haven't watched it since the hearing on Josh. So she did post this. She wrote, the judge that let Josh Duggar go literally just became a judge in the Western Court in Arkansas. She was appointed on the 1st of May. And people saying, and we send our complaints where? My friend in Arkansas says they're probably friends. She's never been a judge before. Of all the cases to give a brand new judge, I hope she doesn't think like the defense attorney while on the bench. And then they're talking about fact checking, as if that isn't suspicious. It's the law. What KJ and her stands seem to forget is that in the US, you're still innocent until proven guilty. And at the end of the day, that's the law. Now, he did admit to some, like, to the previous stuff, and it does look like that he is guilty and he is going to go to jail. But until he's convicted, he's still technically innocent by the court, by the law, by the US law. And they have got some pretty tight restrictions on him. And they've said that if he breaks them, he's going to go. And don't forget, at his arraignment, the judge said, what if you get out, if you do get bail or bond, this is what's going to have to happen. So it was already hinted at. So anyway. Look, I haven't watched I've tried to record her, but she keeps trying. The other thing is on her, look at this. Change.org, Discovery Channel, delete all Duggar show. She's posted that. She's posted that here. All right? What's she going to do if they delete? What's she going to do Since she's a lawyer, she should have known that. Well, that's right, Christine. What's she going to do when the Duggars become normal citizens? And yeah, and in Australia we have really big cyber harassment laws. Like, let's just say she started doing that on me. Let's just say she started to go after me and she was relentlessly posting like that. Under our cyber laws, that would be considered harassment. And we've got some of the toughest laws in Australia. So, toughest laws in the world for cyberbullying. She's a phony. She needs them. Oh, she does need them for the content. That's the whole issue. That's my whole issue with her. That's my whole issue. She will follow ex-members of the family pretending to be a 60 Minutes reporter. Yeah. But, I mean, I can't believe that her stands aren't bored with it already. I mean, how many of us have said we're done? You know, how many of us have said we're sick of hearing about, we're sick of her talking about Josh Duggar. We're sick of her, like, going on about, you know, like stuff like this. Is like, this is how she's like, to the haters, The Sun and multiple outlets literally published articles during the hearing, which was not allowed in the court. I did not publish anything. Why aren't you reporting the big outlets for breaking the rules? I wait. Now, the difference with The Sun is that it is a real media outlet. My tweets were only done during the court was in recess. That's it. I went live once I dropped from the hearing, which happened to at least 15 people. It was massive technical image. Twitter was full of info coming directly from the courtroom, and none of it was coming from you. You didn't release any information until afterwards the recess. You stated the evidence was bad, but didn't disclose anything further until it was already on all over Twitter. Posting live during the, and then someone's put this here. No one said Twitter. It was on her YouTube live, and she was getting paid. She was told no social media. This is the she does when she says everyone's bullying me. One of many screenshots, and this is also about you, not The Sun or other media. Stop deflecting. Maybe people are reporting, but doubtful, because you are the only one who thinks none of the rules apply to you, and you mess with hundreds, if not thousands, of innocent people's lives. And again, you are not media. You are not media. I can actually imagine her hiding in the bushes and climbing up, but I could see that. Well, and The Sun and the other outlets have to answer to the court. Like, what about worrying about yourself? Yeah, but she took out all her stuff that she said about Emily D. Baker. But you know what? There are so many screenshots. All the screenshots have been preserved. So they're all there. So somebody then, this one, the truth comes out, you were kicked out of the Zoom court hearing. It's wondered if Amy Duggar put her phone on speaker for you to hear the rest of the call. Now the courts are looking into it. Amy Duggar, you better be careful by association. That's not true. I'd never go against the rules. The court isn't looking into anything. Stop running your mouth. That's how more and more gossip is spread. And she says, they always do this. they want you to think that I suck, and then they will want you to befriend whatever other YouTuber that is covering this. So they basically want to interfere and cause drama. Not into that. I'm too old for this drama. I want everyone to know that I'm not her source. I literally am not close enough to know anything, any of the info being told, but Katie has been nothing but kind to me, and I will extend the same kindness. Then she cries when people believe her. Yeah. When, look what she said. Yes, I know. She told her not to watch. She said, don't watch if it's triggering. She's deleted all the stuff bad-mouthing Emily D. Baker. She has deleted it all. All of it. I guess KJ's going to deny that she got a phone call. We can all sign it and she'd be out of a job. Yeah. I guess that she's going to deny that Amy Duggar King actually rang her. She'll deny that. Well, I wonder whether her lawyer got on the phone and said, you've stuffed this up. If you don't delete this, you're going to lose your settlement. You're going to lose any negotiation. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But I would say she's done it because she had to, not because she wanted to. And they've also gone from Instagram as well. You know, also disappeared from Instagram. As I said, people have got them. Just like every one of her lives has been captured. And when she says, I didn't say that, somebody can pull up and go, well, you did actually, because here is your proof. Here is the proof that you did it. But she won't ever admit it. Oh, yes, everyone knew it was Amy. Like Todd wrote this in a stream. Emily Baker is a complete tool. And she's also deleted everything that she said about Leslie Bass as well. Leslie Bass is a liar. I can't believe she said Daisy's destruction isn't as bad as I described. She goes on YouTube to discredit me on everything and minimize the torture and abuse of children by Peter Scully. He's in prison for life. In case anyone is wondering, Leslie goes by LB now because she had to change her name because she is a professional liar, troll, and mean girl. No one would watch her under her real name. So that's the type of stuff, and all of that's gone now. All of that's gone. That does not exist. Disappeared. But we have it. And that's the most important thing. Oh, she's already started on Instagram this morning by the looks of it. Ha! You're joking. She started already. And this one is about Amy and the fact that people are hating on Amy. Let's just have a look. All her videos, and she won't donate any no, she won't. Well, apparently, according to Jessie Bear, she donates to lots of organisations, not seeing receipts. But there'll be receipts for mine when they're made. So this is her post at the moment. Haters are harassing Amy. These people are sick. Amy has enough going on. Leave her alone. Trying to convince Amy not to speak to me so that they can get her to speak to other YouTubers. One specific YouTuber has almost for almost 2 years tried to steal my sources and ruin friendships I've made by slandering me on their channel, then directing trolls to contact people I've interviewed or befriended to steal them. They've not only harassed Amy, but Lindsay Christie. I have a suggestion. Ethical reporting is establish relationships and respecting the person, not by causing harm to them, not violating their trust, and respecting their boundaries. Amy is not my resource. The info I report, she wouldn't know because she doesn't have a close enough relationship with the Duggars. Amy is estranged from her family, along with Jill. They have limited contact. My sources are not Amy or Jill. They are disconnected from the Duggars or estranged. They are not anyone any of you would know. Why does she keep repeating herself? Stop harassing Amy. You are making a situation hard for her that is already brutal. Amy is a good friend that respects her friends and family. She has a big heart. My kindness towards her is because I adore her bubbly personality and she's hilarious. I've interviewed her multiple times. Those interviews formed a friendship. It's not hard for anyone to see that Amy's value as a person far exceeds her last name or connection to his story. Leave her alone. Stop trying to harass her and stop accusing her of calling me from court. It didn't happen. She wasn't in court. The hearing was over. She is not my source. If you want to be successful as a reporter, focus on your content and stop staring down your competitors to try and steal their audience. But you're not a reporter, Katie. But you're not a reporter, Katie. And just in case Katie Joy didn't get it, you're not a reporter, Katie. You're nothing more than a middle-aged gossiper. There you go. I said it. All KJ had to do was silence her phone, but she wanted us to know that she's... Oh, of course, that's all. That's what it was. Yes, Katie Joy, I'm talking about you. So, I don't know who's stealing her sources. I have no idea. I might get that troll I wanted now. Cool. I'd love to have a troll. I want a troll. I want a troll. Can somebody send me a troll? Here, troll. Here, trolly, trolly, trolly. Here, trolly, trolly, trolly. Are you send a troll? Oh, I can think. Send in the trolls. Send in the trolls. Send in the trolls. Send in the trolls. So I'm surprised she's Instagramming on Mother's Day. I don't think I actually have posted any, I did a very quick video this morning to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. I haven't even been on Facebook today. Like, this is like the first time, like, I posted, like, let's see her IG. Okay, I can show you her IG. But I can't be bothered with it all, really. Didn't do it. I was too busy making memories. So here's all her IG. She got 60 million views, apparently. Mother's Day made her depressed. Why? Because she's got a son that is alive and healthy, reasonably healthy and happy. You know, there are people that are having to say goodbye to their loved ones on Mother's Day. If she does a live and they buy a badge, she can get views. She didn't want to be a mum. Well, that's not her son's fault. That's not her son's fault. And if she didn't want to be a mum, she should stop judging every other mum then. Because there's nothing worse than being mum shamed. She likes the sad fish with her son. Yes, well, I guess. I feel sorry for that kid. She's not connected to him. So, well, this is more of a tabloid site. Although they would be very upset that I've called it a tabloid site, but it's not one that I use for a lot of my stuff. Any mum worth her damn would be thankful to have a living child. I know. Hope her son's never sees the video where she says she never wanted kids. If I remember correctly, she did it for Toad. So, apparently, locals pushed to ban beach volleyball from Bondi and Tamamara beaches. So, beach volleyball could be banned from Bondi Beach.
Now, every now and then we delve into local government matters.
Okay, sorry. But others argue it's part of the culture. So concerns have been raised by members of the community regarding the location of the beach volleyball courts and compliance with council's rules of play. Angry people have taken to social media to voice their support for the game, arguing that miserable, snobby locals should not ruin the fun for everybody. Australians should be proud of this beautiful sport, so many Olympic medals and also very well represented in all world championships. It's embarrassing to get rid of the volleyball when there seems so much space on Tamarara and Bondi beaches. There are 4 nets permitted at Tamarara and 3 at Bondi. Under existing rules, organised competitions are not allowed on the beaches and softball volleyballs must be used. There seems to be such a great volleyball community. If you whingers run it for anyone, I've already written to the council. What do you reckon? Beach volleyball. Did she say she'd sell him on the black market? I'm sure that there would be lots of people that would have him within an instant. That would just take him. So, you know. You went to Bondi Beach? I haven't been to Bondi Beach. Never been there, so. So here's a Twitter here. It says, I am incredibly grateful for my amazing subscribers and followers for always keeping me focused on track. Love you all. Love you, Katie. We love you, Katie. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. Thanks for all you do. We love you. Happy Mother's Day. Love you. Was KJ on track last night on her embarrassing drunken live? I missed all of that, by the way. I missed the drunken live. What's embarrassing being a grown adult interrupting loving conversations to bully and bring hate? Who said I was an adult? Much love to you. There's 2 comments listed there. There's another one here. Oh, yeah. That's what they do, honey. They literally have no substance to their claims. They're full of, you know what, so they have to go low. When you look at all these people that do this, they're unhealthy, unhappy, their own kids hate them, just bad people. Really, Kevin? Big Kev? Really? You reckon that we're all unhappy? No. Plus, when he's been drunk, a bad thing, I'm a bartender. I make a living off drunk people. Spread love always. When you are going live to an audience that thinks you are a journalist, they might want a gossip channel to be sober and straight. How embarrassing for KJ. At least her new subs are getting a glimpse at who she really is, a drunk, narcissistic, jealous, wannabe journalist who thinks she has an exclusive. I hope you heal from whatever is hurting you. This is pathetic. Correct. Her whole IG is Duggars. People throw that I love you around like they're saying hi. I know they do, don't they? It's quite amusing. I love you. We spent most of our time in Northern Territory around Darwin, Kakadu National Park, Australia. I haven't been to Northern Territory yet either, Christine. You've been places I haven't been yet. So I haven't been to Northern Territory. Is the only state I haven't been to. I've been to every other state. So, right. So I am going to, I'm going to call it a night, people. It's just about 11 o'clock here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. For those of you, Gingerly, have a great birthday. So I hope for those of you who are mothers or spiritual mothers or fur mothers, just have a really lovely day and just enjoy the day. And I won't be on tomorrow night because I've got choir, but I'll be back Tuesday night. So I'd love to be able to visit Australia, but I'm scared of spiders, snakes, and critters all over. I've seen too much. Sweet tea, It depends on where you go. I don't see a lot of there are occasional snakes around. There's not a lot. But it's not as scary. It's not as scary as they make out. They always go to the weird extreme places. Anyway, I will catch you in 2 days. I will be putting up a video tomorrow. It hopefully will be so there'll be a pre-recorded one, and we'll do it as a premiere for the same time so we can be on and chat. I just don't know what it's going to be on yet. So anyway, have a great day. Enjoy the day. I hope you all get spoilt and loved by your fur babies and children and grandchildren and friends and everybody. All right. Thank you for being amazing. And if you don't have any children, you can adopt me for the day so I can say Happy Mother's Day to you. Yeah, I'm going to sleep well. I'm pretty tired. So my voice is actually going because I've got this cold. So I may have to go get a COVID test. It's not, I doubt very much it's COVID, but, you know, I have to appease people. So I'll probably have to go get a COVID test, which means I'll have to isolate. So anyway, so thank you. Please hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you very much. Have a great day.